Hey there, Park Ridge kids, welcome to STEWY'S, the music lesson of the week. Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to week 8 of term 3 for STEWY'S music. Let's get on with part 1. We're still doing the body percussion work, and thank you to the people who have sent in their work. The body percussion grids look fantastic, and the ones I've seen videos of sound really good too. Now, while you're mixing in your claps with your pats and your clicks and your stomps, this week we're adding in some rests. Now, I'm pretty sure you should know what a rest is by now. I think way back in term 1 when I introduced them to you, it's just like a silent beat. So it's still worth one count, but it's a count of silence. So it'd be great to start seeing some of those in your body percussion grids. Something to think about too is trying to make more of a pattern out of your music. If you've got yours all mixed up and everywhere, it might look good, but it's actually quite hard to play. And it kind of doesn't sound like a beat. So have a look at one that I made up today. I tried not to get too fancy, and hopefully it's still going to sound pretty good. Actually, it'll have a pattern that sounds like a beat. So I've stuck with a clap, a stomp, there's my rest, then a click. And I did the exact same one underneath. My third line, I've changed it up a little bit, put 3 knee pats in and a click at the end, so all of mine ending clicks. And then the last line, I've gone back to what I had at the start. Clap, stomp, rest, click. So I'm going to try to play that now, and hopefully it sounds pretty good. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, click. That wasn't too bad. And I found that relatively easy to play as well. So for this week, add in those rests and have a go at making a really cool repetitive pattern. It sounds better, I think, and it makes it easier to play too. So for part 2, I thought we'd start looking at a different set of musical staff. You might have seen something called a bass clef, and a bass clef is got to do with the low, really low notes on a piano. So if you are playing piano, your right hand plays the high notes, the middle and high notes, and then when you're playing with your left hand, you start playing the middle and low notes. Now, if I play a big instrument in the orchestra, like a tuba or a trombone, those sorts of instruments use the bass clef because they're big and low. It's like playing a bass guitar too. When I started playing music, I started as a bass guitarist, and I started reading the bass clef. We'll take a look at it in a minute. You still need to know the treble clef, of course, because that's probably the one we'll mainly use in primary school, but it's great to know the bass clef too. So let's have a look at the musical staff. In fact, now we're looking at what's called the grand staff, because it's including the treble and the bass clef. Let's check it out. All right, apologies for the glare on the whiteboard there. So I've brought this from school, and let's take a closer look at the staff. This is now the whole musical staff we're looking at here. This is what we've been working on, the treble clef, yeah? Every good boy deserves fruit on the lines, and the face, F-A-C-E, in the space. If you kept on going after that F there, it would become G. And then after G, it would go up, it would have a line through it, it would be A. But we're taking a look down here. There, look, there's middle C. When you get to D under there, middle C. And I've sort of included it over here because now, if this was to keep going, my board's not quite wide enough, you would get to middle C, and here's where things change. We are now in the bass clef. And the lines are not the same. So we've got to learn a new saying for bass clef. Now, the sheet that I've included will have all of this in there for you to have a closer look at. So rather than every good boy deserves fruit, everything's kind of moved down a line. So the best way I remember it is this saying for the notes on the lines: good birds don't fly away. And then in the space, well, I sort of have a saying. I haven't written it in because I couldn't fit it in. It's A-C-E-G, but I think of it as all cows eat grass. That's written down on the sheet, I'm pretty sure, in the lesson pack, but I think you can remember that. All cows eat grass. I might include that in next week's lesson. I don't want to have too much on this board to confuse you. So it's just something you really need to know is the bass clef if you're going to be playing music and reading music. Great to know, especially by the time you get to high school. If you know this stuff, I think you'll be well ahead of some of the other kids. So I've included a couple of worksheets. One's just doing some bass, one's got a bit of information on the bass clef with this similar stuff. One's just a go at practicing some bass clefs. And the other one is filling in the notes of the bass clef on that sheet. So good luck with that. Let's move on to the singing part of our lesson. Okay, back to one of my favourite things, which is singing. Obviously, we need to go through our checklist of warm-ups that we're starting to develop. Let's go through it. Check your posture. You should be standing or sitting up pretty straight, shoulders back just a little bit. Have a go at taking a few deep breaths. In through your nose, hold it, and slowly let it out of your mouth. Oh, I forgot to mention, really you should try to have your feet flat on the floor too. Let's try another deep breath in, breathing in. Hold it, hold it. Slowly let it out. So you should be doing that 3, 4, or 5 times before you start singing. And don't forget too that your shoulders shouldn't lift because it's really your stomach and chest area that should be expanding as you breathe in and contracting as you breathe out. So you don't have lungs in your shoulders. Stretch your mouths out a bit. Roll your tongue around. Maybe just make yourself feel nice and relaxed and roll your shoulders forwards. Okay, let's go through a couple of do, re, mi's. Ready? 1, 2, breathe in. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Let's jump right up to here and try a high one of those. 1, 2, breathe in. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. I hope after the last couple of weeks you're starting to memorize all those sounds. Let's try adding in, rather than just doing 3 parts of the scale, la, 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 la. Let's add 4 notes of the scale. It's actually called an arpeggio. Same with a 3-note 1, 2, when you do every second note of a scale. All right, we'll go all the way down to C. Let's start with the la sound. 1, 2, breathe in. La, 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 la. Let's go up a bit higher. We'll change the sound to yeah. 1, 2, breathe in. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe hoo, 1, 2. Hoo, 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 hoo. I'll let you guys choose this sound. I'll play the notes. And you can choose any 1-syllable sound you want. 1, 2. Let's do one more and I'll let you choose a sound as well. 1, 2. Great. I think we're ready to sing. Now, this week's song, I'm going to do the same whether you're a foundation student or a grade 6 student, because it's a song that I think every primary school kid should know. It's fun to sing, and I think what I like about it is when we do some instrumental work that's using drums or xylophones and things, this song is really good for doing some of that stuff. So if we know the song really well with our singing, it's going to help us with our instrumental work too. The good thing also about it, not only is it a catchy, great song, is it covers all sort of pitches of singing. It has a bit of a low bit, which is like yo wimmoe, 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 wimmoe. It has that medium sort of pitch singing in the verses, which is like in the jungle, the mighty jungle. And then it gets to that really high register for the chorus, which is the we all away. Now sometimes you want to get a little bit crazy, you can go really high and take it up another octave. I'll do it once to see how I go. A 1, a 2, a 3. That's really high. Let's have a go at the song. The lyrics are in your lesson pack. Here goes. We're going to start with Wimmoways, yeah? Double that up again. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Take a breath. Second verse. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the quiet village, the lion sleeps tonight. Take a breath. Let's try a high one. Darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Back to the outro. What a great song that is. Hope you enjoyed singing that. Don't forget to sing some of your own songs, and I'd love you to keep on sending in clips of you singing these songs or your own stuff. So that's it for this week's lesson, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care out there, and I'll see you in next week's lesson. Bye for now. Enjoy your lesson. It's STEWY'S. Use that lesson of the week. That's right.